This sporting great was described by Sir Alf Ramsey as being 10 years ahead of his time. Regarded as England's first total footballer, he was one of the heroes of the 1966 World Cup winning side. He is Martin Peters. When did Sir Alf say you were 10 years ahead of your time?
It was after a game in a European Championship game in Scotland, where I managed to score a goal because we had to get a result up there to go through to the next round. And I scored fairly early on, but I missed about 3, mind you, and had a really good game.
Known as the Ghost, or as Sir Alf Ramsey calls him, the Shadow.
And we went through, we drew 1 each with Scotland, and it was mentioned after that to the press.
So what did he mean by that?
I never asked him, you know.
You were happy to accept it, though.
People have asked me that question over the years. But at West Ham, when I was obviously at West Ham those days, that I did end up playing all positions on the pitch, from in goal to left wing. And I think it was the time of the era coming the future Dutch side that, you know, any player could pop up anywhere, any time, and be able to score goals or make other people's goals. And I think
so. It suggests to me that you were one of the first recognised thinking footballers.
Why are you saying they didn't think in those days?
No, but you know, people today, I mean, you know, they say, like, you know, Eric Cantona, you know, how, you know, Teddy Sheringham, they don't have the pace, but they can read the game so well.
Yeah, I guess that's right, because I wasn't quick. I could run long distances, but as quickness I wasn't. But I could, a bit like Bobby Moore, really. Bobby was a fantastic reader of the game, but he wasn't quick. But he had the knowledge and the whereabouts to know where that ball was going to land. And I mean, I became known as the Ghost as well at one stage, because they say, oh, Martin Peters is not. Oh, there he is, in the back of the net. But they didn't see the 10 runs and the 9th one. I got the ball. So I was a thinking player, yes.
You're a true East Ender, aren't you?
That's right. I was born in Plaistow in 1943 during the war. So in my nan's house. My mum and dad lived there at the time, and Plaistow was only 2 or 3 miles from West Ham United Football Club.
And what did your folks do?
My dad was a Thames lighterman, which you may not know what that is, but
a lighterman.
A lighterman, yes, which was quite a bit of a trade in those days. They ferry the barges up and down the River Thames to different docks, different wharves, and they would pick up another barge and so on. And strangely enough, that my dad wanted me to go into that trade when I left school at 15. But I had quite a few scouts were coming around the house to say, come and join this club and join that club. He kind of had a look at 2 or 3 different clubs and different scouts, and West Ham was our closest club, and he said, well, if you're going to go anywhere in the football, he didn't really want me to, he wanted me to go on the river.
So why West Ham?
Well, mainly I think because of the scout, a super guy named Wally St Pierre, who got Bobby Moore on at West Ham, he got Geoff Hurst on at West Ham, and he had influence with my dad, a very genuine man. And my dad said, well, if you're going to go into football, that's where you're going to go. You're going to go with Wallace St Pierre and West Ham, and the manager was Ted Fenton in those days.
So what was it like at Upton Park? What was it like to pull that shirt on? What was this like as a job?
We were just great. We were just pleased to be involved. And as I said, during the summer, which I was joining in the summertime, we were just kind of decorating Upton Park and pleased to be doing it, really. There was a niche of players that Brian Deere, who got through, Ronnie Boyce, John Charles, other players, you know, we were all there together learning, but we were still learning our trade on the football pitch as well.
Is there any value in the business of painting, tending to the ground, cleaning up and whatever it is? I mean, when you look back on that apprenticeship, do you think it did you good, or was it a complete waste of time?
I think it's good. I think why not to see the hard part of life, you know, you've got to have the good side, but this was something, but we enjoyed it. We had a laugh. It was great fun at 15, 16 doing these things. It was great. I mean, I wouldn't have changed it for the world. And
when did it dawn on you or everyone else around you that this guy has got something special, and he is actually going to make it as a top flight pro?
I played for the youth team to start with. I didn't play many games. Then with West Ham then had an A team, a 3rd team, and I was playing in that at the age of about 16, 17. And you went to places like Hastings Reserves and Haywards Heath, and you had old pros who were playing there and saying, like, son, can't come near me, or you'll be in trouble. And it was quite character building, really.
Character intimidation,
so
some people may call it.
But then you're looking from the A team to get into the reserves, and once you're in the reserves, you're looking to try and make your way into the 1st team. So and I got into the first team when I was 18. Good Friday,
And who-
1962.
And was Hurst and Moore already there?
Well, Geoff had been in the side, but strangely enough to say, Geoff for those days was playing right half. Do you know what right half is?
Right hand. Well, he's on the wing, is he? Right
No,
of
right
midfield?
midfield.
Right midfield,
Yeah,
right?
no wing backs in those days, so we had a right half.
Uh-huh.
And Geoff was playing that. And actually, my first game was against Cardiff City at Upton Park, and he dropped Geoff and put me in Geoff's place.
Oh.
And so I always say that it was me that instigated Geoff to be a forward player.
The only space for him was up front then.
Well, the next season, Geoff was asked to play up front,
Yeah.
the famous number 10 that he wore for West Ham, and obviously we knew what he'd done from then on. Fantastic.
What was the combination or the association between Bobby Moore, yourself then in midfield, and Geoff Hurst up forward? Was that a natural alliance, or is that just something that has grown in mythology over the years?
Well, it obviously started on the training pitch. I think Bobby played his first game in '58, so for West Ham. So he was like 4 years in advance of me anyway. So, and then Geoff got back in the side, and we just built up relationships with Ron Greenwood, and developed in particular for West Ham this near post ball that most clubs used to have a big centre forward hit it in the box and get the knockdowns really. But Ron Greenwood, with his methodical ideas and continental ideas, adapted this near post ball that we had a lot of success with.
Number 10 is Hurst. Peters in the middle, where you'd expect in the old days a centre forward to be, and he scored. Peters has scored.
But so we just kind of built it on the training ground and became instinct really.
Was the '66 World Cup always a realistic target for you, or did things work out quite luckily for you?
Well, I think the West Ham won the FA Cup in '64, which I didn't play in. Then '65 we got through and won the Cup Winners' Cup.
Sharp enough off the mark. Now it's Boyce. He's got Seeley free on the right. This could be a goal for West Ham. Yes, the goal! Seeley has scored. No, it's not quite in the picture yet. Here he comes. Oh, Boyce to Hurst, and Seeley has made it two. Seeley has made it two.
And then we had a good run in '66, and so my game developed within the success of West Ham as well. And I was kind of coming to the fore again in '65, '66, once I got back in the side.
They say today the England coach's job, who'd have it? How did you rate Sir Alf as a manager?
Well, there's no praise you can say about him. You know, he was a player's man. He looked after players first and foremost. Develop relationship with players. Sometimes he would bring a player into the squad, look at him, how he was with the other players, not play him and never ever see him again because he felt that maybe the attitude was wrong, didn't want that type of person. But other people he would obviously develop, and with myself, that I obviously was fortunate enough to build up a reasonable relationship with Alf. But he looked after the players first and foremost, and because then the players, it gave him 110%.
What about your build-up for the tournament? What did he do there, the '66 final?
The final?
Well, the actual tournament.
Well, the tournament, we actually, before the tournament started, there was 27 players went to Lilleshall, which is the national training ground centre, to play for 10 days because there was 5 going to be left out. Very similar to when Gascoigne was left out recently in the World Cup. And of course everyone wanted to be in the 22, and you can imagine, having a 50-50 would not be Styles, and it was very difficult. And I was up against a guy called Gordon Milne, really, because he used to play right half for Liverpool, and had played a few times for England, maybe 15-20 times. And I thought, well, he's been there for so long, and I've got to get past him. But fortunately, I had a good 10 days and got picked in the squad, which was really the ultimate I was thinking about, just being in the squad.
What are your memories of the tournament itself then, building up to the final?
The squad was so tight-knit. I mean, even today we're so close to each other. It's a bit more than players. It's more like brothers, really, same kindred, really. And he decided to give me the opportunity against the second game, which was against Mexico. which again we didn't play particularly well, but we won 2-0, and then I got picked for the next game, which was the French game, which we once again we won 2-0. And then we go into the quite the infamous game against Argentina, which I got picked for that one. and Geoff came in for that one because Jimmy Greaves was injured. And the near post ball worked, and we were struggling really against them because they were a good side, and they had 10 men.
And Ratton's in trouble. He's off. Ratton goes off. Ratton is sent off. And somebody wants the ball to go off. Juan Carlos Lorenzo, the coach, is thinking of approaching the touchline, and they're all going to go off, I think. If Ratton goes, they'll all go. One out, the lot out, I think.
I received the ball from Ray Wilson wide on the left, knew where Geoff should be, knew where I should have to put it, knocked it in and it went perfect for him, and he knocked it in. We won 1-0.
By number 10, Hurst from Peters. We're in injury time, and the whistle has gone. England have won it. England are in the semi-final of the World Cup. The goal scorer after 77 minutes was Hurst, and so England have won by 1-0. There is the goal scorer, Geoff Hurst, and Argentina are out.
Which was a big game to win because the Argentinian side were a good side.
Yeah, but rough, tough. And
Very, very.
Yeah, dirty.
Well, Alf called them animals and got in trouble for it, didn't he?
Yeah, that's true. Could you look after yourself on the pitch?
Well, people used to think I was a little bit of a fancy Dan at times, but other people know that I can look after myself, yeah. Well, I was 6 foot, so I'm entitled to look after myself, really.
Yeah, bit of a quiet man.
Yeah, quiet, but
Effective.
people would know I was around, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we played Portugal, which was an entirely different game to the Argentinian game, because they had the great man Eusebio playing up front for them.
Mm.
But we had the man for him, Nobby Stiles,
Yeah.
who sorted him out.
Then the big day.
And then the big day, yeah. We didn't know who was playing. Jimmy Greaves was again fit. So Jimmy obviously had missed 2 games. Geoff had come in and done very well. He'd scored the win against Argentina. He laid on one of the goals for Bobby Charlton. So it was a big thing, you know. Roger Hunt had played pretty well. Very well, in fact.
When you say we didn't know who was playing, I mean, when were you actually told?
I was told in the cinema, because Alf liked to go to the cinema the night before, or the pictures or the flicks, whatever they call it. And he told me in the reception, called me over and just said, just think I better tell you you're playing tomorrow.
Did that ruin the movie for you?
No, I don't think so. No, but I was very excited at the time, and I roomed with Geoff,
Yeah.
and he told Geoff similar. So once we got back to our rooms, and we were kind of pretty excited.
And could you sleep that night?
Yeah, we both could sleep pretty well. We didn't have any problem sleeping.
Really?
We were both kind of laid in quite a lot as well.
Yeah. And then the match?
Well, the game, yes. I mean, the build-up is fantastic. I mean, we stayed at Hendon Hall Hotel, which is about 6 miles from Wembley. We had the back route. You know, you can imagine that on the day there was thousands of people waiting outside at the coach to wish us well, and off we go on the police escort as well, of course, and get to Wembley.
And you weren't worried? You weren't, I mean, you actually were looking forward to it?
Well, I think the build-up is intense, and you get nervous, and you know, as you're getting closer to where you've got to go out into the tunnel, you wait. We were on the right-hand side, and the German team didn't come out. You know, left. I think they left us there on purpose. You know, can you imagine just waiting there on the right? Yeah. And you know, the biggest game you're going to play in your life, and suddenly you hear the studs coming across, and they're walking out, and you're looking at them, and you're thinking, whose day is this going to be? Is it could be our day or theirs? And the build-up is fantastic.
Not only it was your day in 2 ways, the winning team, and a goal to boot as well.
Yeah, obviously we went 1 down early on, and then Geoff scored the equaliser.
Who was the better? To a goal! West Germany have scored. Oh, the free kick. In goes it's an equaliser.
There was about 12 minutes to go, I think, and Bawley took a corner on the right with Allen. got it to the far post, and Geoff had a shot and hit a defender and looped in the air. And as it looped, I thought, bloody hell, it's coming to me. And I had one thing in my mind that just hit the target. Just got to hit the target. I was about 8 yards out on the volley. I thought, well, I better get to it before Jack, because Jack was just behind me. And I hit it down the middle, and the keeper went one way and Snellinger went the other, and it went in.
Ball with the corner. Hurst. What a chance! A goal! Peters.
What if Jack had have connected with that?
Well, Jack is pretty pleased that I got in front of him, I think.
4-2 scoreline. Was that flattering?
I wouldn't say it's flattering. I think we were the better side on the day. They were obviously a good side, but I think we were the better side. I mean, Geoff's second goal, Nobby Stiles hit a super ball down the right-hand side. Ball he went down, hit it early into the near post. Geoff controlled it, hit a great shot, hit the underside of the bar, bounced 2 yards over the line and out. So we all know that happened, don't we? Yeah.
It is all over. England are the world champions.
Mexico then, in the 1970 World Cup. What was that experience like? What was that squad like compared to the 66 squad?
It was a good side, but maybe not quite good enough. But Mexico was very disappointing because it was very hot, and the altitude. But I think the heat, as much as anything, drained the teams. When you think we kicked off against Brazil, it was a wonderful game against Brazil. I mean, we talk about Bobby Moore, and he had the problems about the supposedly stolen bracelet in Colombia. And he'd just come back and he played the greatest game I've ever seen an England defender play against Brazil that day. We kicked off at 12 o'clock, 98 in the stadium. And we lost 1-0. But we gave as good as we got on that day. And they won. Well, they're the greatest side I ever played against.
There's Mullery, one of two Spurs players, the other one's Peters. Hurst to Peters. First shot of the match to England. Paula Cesar. Costau. And Moore beaten for one. But back again. Pele! Jairzinho! Again looking for Astle and Hurst. Have it over!
Do you feel that accusation against Bobby brought the best out of him? How did he respond?
No, Bobby
to
always
that?
played. He tended to play better. The higher the team he was playing against, he tends to play that much higher himself. No matter if, you know, I mean, Geoff always says if he played on the moon against the World Moon 11, or he would obviously play.
But how did he deal with that? All that attention and the accusation, the finger pointing, the slurs.
Well, it was very difficult, but he knew he was innocent. We all knew he was innocent. He had the backing of the whole squad, and Alf and Harold Shepherdson and all the backing of the staff. Everybody knew, the media knew that he was innocent, so it was still very difficult because he was taken away from us. He was kept in isolation for a little while, not in prison, but in someone's house. And obviously it was quite a difficult time for him and for the whole squad.
Martin, how did you react to Bobby's death?
It was very difficult, really, because obviously knowing him from when I was 15 years of age, and it's now 5 years since Bobby died, became very difficult because of the manner of the man. Everyone knew he could play, but people didn't know what he was. You know, that's the thing we miss as much as anything. And I'd seen him have this. He had this operation, I think, in '91, and he always said he was fine. He had no problems. And obviously you believed him, although he did look a little bit pale. But he was working. He was working for radio and doing lots of things. And we didn't know quite how bad he was. And when I heard, I was devastated. And the thing that went through my mind, I'll never be able to see him again, never meet him again. It was quite difficult.
We were talking about the 1970 World Cup. In the same year, before you went to Mexico, you moved from your beloved West Ham. Why? Well,
I just felt that it was time to move on. I'd been there for 11 years. I was 26, and I wanted to win things, basically. And that particular stage, West Ham, we were doing okay, but we were playing some good football, winning 5-4, losing 4-3 and things like that. And I just felt that I needed something new, something different, and another challenge really.
Did Spurs give you a new lease of life?
Well, yes, it did really, I guess. It was a different outfit. We had a real good side. And no disrespect to the West Ham players, but if you look at the Spurs side that was there, at that particular side, back Pat Jennings and Cyril Knowles, Mike England, Alan Mullery, Martin Chivers, Alan Gilzine, a young Steve Perriman. You know, you couldn't buy that side today, so we were pretty successful.
And what would you rate as your biggest success whilst you were there?
Scoring 4 against Man United. Straight through to Peters, Stepney coming out. 1-0. Pearce. Coates, Peters. Pearce, Chivers, Peters. A hat-trick. Still Knowles. Peters. He's made it 4.
What about Europe with Spurs?
Yeah, we well in '71. I went in '70, and '71 we won the League Cup, which then put us into Europe for '72, and we went on and won the UEFA Cup in '72, which was great. And we played Wolves in the final, which was I think the first and last all English final, and it was a tough game.
Superbly taken. So a free kick to Wolves just outside the box. Quickly taken. Hagan, McCalliog. It's 1 each. Chivers. Chivers again. Gilzine spreading out square. What a shot! Hit that one out.
What was the 1975 experience at Norwich like? 75 and then off to Norwich?
Yes, what happened that basically Bill Nicholson decided to retire, and it wasn't the same relationship, and a number of us decided to move on. John Bond, who I'd known from playing at West Ham, and Ken Brown was the manager and assistant, and they asked me to go to Norwich. So
And you settled there, did you?
we did. I mean, it's much easier for a player. My wife took time to settle, really.
But a good experience for you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, it was great. And we were in the second division. Sunderland were fourth, there was Norwich who were third, there was Aston Villa, and there was Man United. So they were the 4 teams going, and Norwich came third out of that, and Villa and United went up. So that was 75.
When you look back at your career, and there were basically those 3 clubs, West Ham, Spurs, Norwich, depending on who you support as who you see Martin Peters as, do you have a club which will always be the defining club for you?
It's difficult. I mean, I have such great feelings for each club. I mean, we've only touched on Norwich, but I mean, I was Norwich 5.5 years. I was longer than I was at Spurs.
Really?
And the main thing at Norwich was just once we were up, to keep them up. That was all the supporters asked for. But at Spurs, you were expected to be in the trophies. You expected to be there. And the West Ham kind of, I guess, fell in the middle of those two. They would like to have a trophy, but they wanted you to play good football. So I have great feelings for all clubs. I mean, I was fortunately voted the best player ever to play at Norwich, so that I hold that in great respect. Obviously not at Spurs or West Ham, but so it's very difficult. But as you maybe know, I'm a director, non-executive director at Spurs now. So everything is guided towards Tottenham.
Yes, and that shapes your answer.
Yes.
Okay. When the day came to hang up your boots, how old were you?
37.
Yeah, so quite old then in footballing terms, yeah?
Well, I left Norwich in '80 and went to Sheffield United, and with Harry Haslam asked me to go as player coach, and I decided to go because I always thought I would go into football, and I thought this was a step to go into.
And Peters, in typical style, arrives at the back when there were 7 defenders in or around the 6-yard box.
It actually didn't work out too well for me. I was player coach
Yeah.
up until February.
Right.
And then they decided to offer me to be the manager, and they
Okay.
said to Harry, would you move aside?
Mm.
And like a fool, I took it because it was a mistake. Basically, I wasn't qualified enough at that particular stage to be able to run. Sheffield United's a big club, and it's a sleeping giant, and the supporters are great. And I just wasn't qualified enough to, but I thought it was another stepping stone.
Well, what is so different? I mean, for the thinking player that you were, what more was there to learn? I mean, you could read the game, you knew how to play, you'd been there, done it. What was different about being a manager?
Well, when you think about it, that there was about 30 pros. None of my players. I never brought them there. Harry hasn't brought them there. I had a trainer, and he was a trainer, and then I had a youth team manager, and that's all I had. And I was trying to run it based on the background that I had. I bought two transactions on the market. I sold a young Scottish lad back to Scotland for 5,000, and I bought Don Givens from Birmingham for 5,000, and that was my transaction.
Well,
over
you
the
balanced the
period.
books then, didn't you?
Oh, brilliant, wasn't it? But unfortunately,
the accountant's dream. You would do well in today's game. You would.
oh, I don't know. This is from February. I took over in February,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, we went down, and that's another story, because the highs of being in the World Cup and the lows of going down was just unbelievable.
How much did it hurt then, not only going down, but just to have failed as a manager? How long did it take you to get over that?
Well, it was very difficult because I mean I'd only been manager since February, and it just kind of petered out really.
So what do you do? What does Martin Peters, sporting great, do today?
Well, I'm pretty busy because fortunately in '84, after being 3 years working for a company in Norfolk, I now are part of an insurance company called Motorplan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also, as you know, non-executive director at Spurs. I was actually doing hospitality for Spurs and also West Ham, so I was doing both of that as well.
So although you've got a life outside football, bearing in mind all you've been through, I presume you could never imagine a life without football.
No, not really. It's been ever since I could kick a ball when I played in goal when I was 9, right up until, I mean, I've just kind of finished playing charity football matches because the Spurs have a great side that plays. Martin Chivers runs a side for charity, and but I just feel so bad afterwards nowadays. So I said, Martin, thank you, but
it's
no.
easier to give the charity money, I presume. Yeah. Martin Peters, it's been lovely talking to you. Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you.